Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. It is myself, Armani Jordan. I'm sitting here with JV from Sydney, Australia. Say what's up, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's good? What's good? First question, man. How are you feeling today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Blessing. So, I sent JV my project a few weeks early. It hasn't come out yet, but he's heard it. You know what I'm saying? How far have you gotten into the project?
I've already gone through the entire thing like 3 times, maybe more than
God
that.
damn. God
Yeah,
damn. Okay. All right. I
I
appreciate
left
that.
that
So like,
joint on. I left that joint on repeat when you sent it to me.
mhm.
Just
I
saying,
appreciate it. I could see on my SoundCloud, they were like, somebody in Sydney, Australia just got you just, just going, cycling in their headphones right now. And I'm like, perfect, perfect.
that's me right there.
Yeah. So okay. So I guess I'll start going through the down the track list. Like when you first started it, what was the first thing that stood out to you?
Oh man, I already messaged you about that when you started with it. We started that
Mm,
Disney shit. First thought was,
yeah.
oh my, they gonna come for his ass. But
Hey. hmm When it
I
comes to
just
stuff
knew
like that,
what
oh,
was that story?
I was gonna
Okay, I
say,
was.
yeah, when it comes to like the samples and stuff, bro, it's like it's a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? I paid for my beats for sure, but it's like, and we ain't paying for samples right now. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, I
but
got you, I got you. But
best case scenario, I get sued. Let it happen. You know what I mean? Blow me up. But go
yeah,
ahead.
any publicity is a good publicity. But yeah, I
Always.
heard that intro and I was like, I'm about to listen to something really dope or something really whack. Because an intro like that,
Yeah,
it's a setup for some. It's a setup for something big.
yeah.
And man, what came after definitely was big.
I appreciate that. So going into Welcome to the Neighborhood, like as a person who's not, have you ever been to America?
No, man, I'm actually from the Philippines, and we moved to Sydney.
Got you. Okay. So as a person, like, do you have any background about the DMV and DC and Maryland and PG County, Maryland? Do you know anybody from out there?
I got a couple of. I got a friend from SeaTech. That's it.
From Seat Pleasant?
No, from SeaTech. That's my only real
Gotcha.
buddy
Oh,
from the
okay.
states. I got a friend from SeaTech and a friend from Jersey. That's it. But I don't really know much about places over there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I know just comes from like rap songs, lyrics, and all
Mm-hmm.
of that stuff. So your track really gave me a good idea of what kind of environment you was in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting because we know that, well, I guess I know because I live here, that Washington, D.C., which where my family is from, has been the murder capital. There's instances with like within a very small space, there could be 600 murders in a year. You got all types of crazy stuff going on. You could walk down the streets. It looks like, is people addicted to the craziest types of synthetic drugs. People look like zombies walking around. It looks real crazy. And
Wait, is
then
it is it
you
worse than Chicago?
I, I think Chicago definitely has more murders. But I think Chicago is bigger than DC. It's
Oh,
two
okay,
different
got
things.
you.
It's two different things. In DC, so if you go to Chicago, I think what people say in Chicago is like, okay, within a friend group, within a group of friends, like it could be 10 friends, and I think like maybe 7 out of 10 might get killed before they're like even graduating high school. In DC, you could have the same amount of deaths, but you also have stuff where it's like same thing within Chicago, where it's a whole bunch of stray bullets, people getting killed on accident. In DC, like we have different Instagram pages where we just have to post up our dead relatives and friends. We're like, damn, this person
That's
just got
crazy.
killed. It was a stray bullet. A lot of little kids get shot and killed on accident. You know what
That's
I'm saying? That's why
crazy.
we have so many initiatives where we're telling people to put the guns down. But
Yeah, yeah.
I would say Chicago probably has more murders. I think And I think it could be because there like Chicago is bigger than DC from what I
Mm,
understand. I've never been to
yeah.
Chicago. I don't, I couldn't say one is worse than the other. I just know my experience. I know within my family, I know how many like within 24 months, I know how many people have been murdered by gun violence in my family. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
I know
Yeah.
like I know it's a crazy amount of people. I know that within my friend group, I know how many people have either been robbed at gunpoint or actually shot and killed. Crazy stories. You know what I mean? So I'll say Washington D.C. has a very big issue with gun violence, and it is multiple different reasons for it. Where do these guns come from? Where do these drugs come from? It's a lot that goes into it. But you have this crazy place in Washington D.C., which is also a beautiful place, but you have all this intense violence going on, and then you have PG County, Maryland, which is the richest black county in America, right? So you have a lot of PG County that is affluent, that just is not doing too bad. But then you also have like I live right in between those two. So I grew up in Seat Pleasant, Maryland.
Okay, got you.
Seat Pleasant, Maryland is literally like you go down the street, you're in DC. You know what I'm saying? You walk up the street, you're in Maryland. So like I've kind of seen both of them. I grew up in
Yeah,
Maryland,
you
but
got
my
the best
whole
of both worlds.
kind of something like that. I didn't seen a lot of crazy stuff, happen. I didn't experience a lot of insane stuff, you know what I mean? Not to incriminate anybody, but it's just like it's a lot of crazy shit that goes on. So that's why like when you listen to Welcome to the Neighborhood, I started off with all those different samples talking about, all these different murders. These are this and it's real news clips. You feel me? Real news clips from my high school, real news clips from my neighborhood. And I just start talking about all types of different crazy shit that I've seen. And that's why it sounds so chaotic. But like give me your thoughts on like what was your experience listening to that long ass intro track?
The intro track, man, like I was losing my mind listening to that jump, man, because you had a little bit of dissonant keys going along with the
Hmm.
beat. It had some jazz shit right there, like a minor third or whatever the fuck you call that.
All that.
It Yeah, it fit perfectly with the mood that you were trying to set, and it fit
Hmm.
perfectly with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because the title alone tells me that it's about experiences. Because it's called "Welcome to the Neighborhood." So
Hmm.
even before listening to the track, it's gonna be about somebody life story and all of that.
Hmm.
And then you start off with those news clips, and then the beat settles in. It fits so perfectly with the narrative. It's just incredible.
I appreciate that. Yeah, when I commissioned uh a producer in California named What Is That. He works with a lot of DMV artists, and I was telling him he's a great piano player. He plays the keys, and I said, listen, I need you to give me I need some beautiful keys, but I need it to sound weird, and I need it to sound like kind of like chaotic and just kind of just a little bit off key, just so that like when I settle you into this story, like I want it to sound like nothing is going right. You know what I'm saying? Over time, like when you hear that beat starts switching and that bass comes in and we start getting turned
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
like bro, he killed that. He killed that first section of that beat. And then afterwards I that's when you hear the end of all the chaos and you hear it calm down and you hear me start talking, that's me playing with a sample of what is her name Faith Evans. It's a Faith Evans sample I'm playing with, and then I flip it again, and then Manny Manhattan finishes out that beat section. But it's two producers and a co-producer on that, and I had to like arrange. It's a lot of beats here, it's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I was like, let me give you all the chaos and then let me calm it down towards the end, and like let me give you all the intensity and let me show you how that violence can turn into gentleness with the last two verses just talking about my life. But were there any like standout bars that you picked up on or anything you had questions about regarding that track?
Personally, when I listen to I don't really pay too much attention on the lyrics, honestly, because
Hmm.
in my mind, if the rest of the track is ass,
Hmm.
Whatever the fuck you
Hmm.
have to say, the people ain't gonna listen to you.
Right.
Like you got
Right.
a whack ass instrumental, nobody gonna care what you say. But I haven't actually gotten the chance to just go through your all your bars. That's
Hmm.
gonna take a lot of time because I'm already taking a lot of time soaking in the rest of the sounds. Cause
Good.
uh that really is so striking to me, that like just how you structure that beat, how it goes from aggressive to
Hmm.
introspective to calm,
Hmm.
transitions so well. And each section, what stood out was each section has its own personality, but it's still
Hmm.
cohesive. It's not like three random pieces of shit crammed into one. It don't sound like that. It sounds
I
so tight.
appreciate it. Yo, it took a long time for me to be able to, really figure out a way to like mesh these really chaotic worlds together. And I've made a lot of short EPs that are like little different pockets of my mind and my emotions. And this is the first project where I was able to kind of lay everything out there in a cohesive way that meshes together. And
Yeah, yeah.
it sounds like the experience is almost like an action packed movie from what I'm hearing what you're saying. Like it's like almost overwhelming. Like it's not a one listen thing where you're gonna catch
Oh,
everything at the
definitely.
same
That's why I really don't got nothing to say about the lyrics, because
time.
usually when I listen to something, I focus on the things that my ears pick up first. Then I eventually take
Hmm.
my time just reading the lyrics, like dissecting that shit. So I'm not at that stage right now. I'm still trying to soak everything in. I don't really like giving out opinions off a couple of listens, man. I don't do that shit.
Okay.
Everybody
Yeah, I
on Twitter
respect
do
that.
that shit. Like
Hmm.
a
They be like,
project
yeah, I
comes
just
out,
listen. Uh-huh.
yeah, a project comes out within a week, they already have an indictment on the project, man.
They be like, yeah, man, that Big Sean album, bro, 30 seconds in, motherfucking classic. You feel me? Like,
Yeah,
motherfucking
yeah,
now
exactly,
that
exactly.
Big Sean shit was amazing, but people do need to take more time to like, really dissect what's going on. Cause sometimes they could be like instant classic and that's great. But then other times they could be like, I don't like that shit. And when really is a great album that we just haven't had the opportunity to properly, dissect, enjoy, consume, digest, all of that. And I feel like for me, I'm the type of artist that I know how much I put into it, and I know how quickly I perceive. Like when I listen to other people's music, I feel like I catch all the bars really fast, and I got to understand that like with everything that I'm doing with music, it might take somebody 5 listens, 10 listens, 20 listens to really be like, oh shit, this is what he's actually saying, and I feel like that's okay because my writing, aside from my musical style of how you hear the beats and how I arrange them and everything, and the co-production and the samples, aside from that, my songwriting style derives from battle rap. So I understand that I'll catch a triple entendre the first time I hear it. Whereas another person, it might take like it's people that's still catching Lil Wayne bars from 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
no,
like,
got you.
right. So it's like I'll wait for y'all to catch it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that y'all are listening. You know what I mean? I'll never complain about that. So that's cool.
Yeah, man,
Um,
I just got bad memory too. Man, I forgot my sister's birthday. I forgot my birthday. I just got real
oh,
bad memory. So
when was your birthday?
19th of June. Man, I
19th of
had to
June.
fucking do
Happy
some
belated.
government paper. Thanks. I had to do some
Hmm.
government paperwork, and I fucked up my birthday, man. But yeah,
Damn.
with all seriousness, your the type of lyrics that you put on wax, it's something that I don't want to just speak on after a couple of days, man. It's something that I want to
Hmm.
digest properly. The same with your sounds, because it's just so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Like off of that one
Yeah.
track alone, first track alone, that could be like a whole hour long conversation.
Bro, see, listen, this is what I'm saying. I'm glad that you picked up on that. So for my goal is this mixtape, every single song is an album on its own. Every single song is an album on its own. Every single song is a whole is a conversation. It's a reason why the track list is the Christian Armand biopic, the Welcome to the Neighborhood, the
Oh, got
Passionate,
you.
uh, Angels. Like these are all separate conversations, especially just those first 4 tracks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
really, yeah, really, it's like I think the first 6 tracks. is to me is like a movie. You know, that's like a feature length film, and that's why I
Yeah, it's an
started off with those
experience.
samples.
It's not just like somebody auto tuning shit, rapping over a
Hmm.
trap beat. It's a whole
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. And what's funny is I like auto tune and shit. I like trap beats, but for my debut, I knew I had to show you guys like what actually goes on in my mind. What am I actually, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying, thinking about.
It
Um.
shows a lot of personality. And what I said about a trap beats thing, because I got a lot of people sending me stuff, and
Hmm.
they're not bad, they good, but they all
Hmm.
kind of sound the same after your first couple of artists sending you new music. They
Hmm.
all start to sound the same. There ain't too
Hmm.
many people who really stand out, and I that's not a knock on them, but that's like props to you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the way that you put that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of shitting on them, you know what I'm saying? Uh, because I appreciate all the artists. I appreciate everybody on the spectrum, from the most simplest to the most complex. You know what I'm saying? And where people think I fall in between that, I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that when people listen to what I have to say, they separate it from the pack, and they're like, okay, for this is a little bit different. This is very layered. I gotta, I gotta pick it apart. And I'm glad, because when I listen, my favorite musicians, um, Kendrick Lamar is my number one influence. So that's somebody
Yeah,
that, very layered, very, like multi-dimensional. It's stuff that you like, it's stuff from Kendrick Lamar that I'm listening now, that I listened to back when I was like 14, 15, that I'm still unraveling everything that
yeah,
he's
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, the
It just
music
like
grows with you.
yeah, his music aged like fine wine, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, you're
Um.
definitely right, cause there's always room for all these artists doing all these kinds of shit, and if you like him, then you like him. And
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
yeah, appreciate you really putting all that personality. Your shit got a lot of personality.
I appreciate that. I feel like that's something I had to work on. Because I feel like my older music that I took off of streaming services, there's personality. Is there really personality in my old music? I feel like if you knew me as a person, or if you've seen me as a person, you can kind of see the contrast between how I speak regularly and then me when I'm rapping. It's a lot. It's an extension of me, but it's almost like it's like a transformation. And I feel like people appreciated my older music if they've seen me before, and they're realizing, oh, in order for him to say what he's saying and do what he's doing is actually taking a lot of work there. But I feel like a person who listens to my old stuff, who never met me or seen me, they're thinking that I'm always like on 10, screaming and yelling and jumping on tables and going being all chaotic or whatever. You feel me? So I felt like with this, I was like, well, let me show you a whole human being. Let me show you my anger. Let me show you some intensity. Let me show you my ignorance. But then also let me put a little bit of knowledge in your ear, just a little bit, just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, just
definitely.
try to just capture who I am, from my perspective, not anybody else's perspective, or you know what I mean. Um,
Yes, sir.
but my next question is like, what were your first thoughts when you heard the song Angels?
Damn. Like I said, man, where do I begin? Like I said, I was a choir kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird though, cause I grew up in the Philippines and they taught us a bunch of hymnals.
Mm-hmm.
They taught us a bunch. We sang a lot of church shit, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing that stood out to me. That lady who was singing in the beginning, man. It's oof.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't even know where to begin, cause I love the melody. I love the beat.
Mm-hmm.
The bars were solid.
Mm-hmm.
The flow was solid. And again, once again, you wanted to set the mood, you wanted to set the
Mm-hmm.
tone, and you did that real quickly just from the jump. Couple of like 30 seconds of the song, I already knew
Mm-hmm.
what you were trying to do.
I appreciate that. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit of background about that song, right? So, um, I talk about this a little bit on the mixtape, and like I said, you said it's a lot to unpack there, so it might have gone over your head. You might not have caught it. You know what I'm saying on the first few listens, but so 2019, um, I've been making music probably like on wax since like 2016, but like 2019, I had taken a break because I didn't really understand what direction I was going in and how I was gonna go about things. I had changed my artist name 1,000 times. I had taken very long hiatuses trying to just figure out how the fuck do I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I basically switched my passions and I was like, okay, what I'm about to do is I'm about to be way more focused on fashion and doing my own clothing brand. And I'm just gonna leave music alone because I felt like I said everything I needed to say.
Yeah.
Fast forward, Valentine's Day, 2020, I got a crazy diagnosis. So I had it was discovered I had acute myeloid leukemia, right, which is a form of cancer in the blood. So when I got that diagnosis, I looked up the information to see, what was about to happen. And with that, it's like for certain people, it's like an 80% chance you're gonna die. You get what I'm saying? In a very short amount
Yeah.
of time. And then on top of that, it's like the odds were not in my favor to say the least. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? At that time, I was 19 years old. And I was like, what do I want to do with the remaining time? I'm like, do I have 2 weeks? Do I got a month? How much time do I have left? What's going on, man? Um, and basically, what I did was I decided to lock in. I was like, all right, I thought I was done with music. I'm gonna put out one more song, and I was like, this literally has to be the greatest song I could possibly write. So I took that beat, it didn't have no vocals on it. It had a very faint vocal sample that couldn't really be made out. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty bare bones. There wasn't nothing on it, and I was like, let me take this beat. I wrote my whole life story pretty much from start to up until where I thought it was about to end. And at this time, I'm in the hospital. Like I'm not allowed to leave because like they're preparing me for chemotherapy, and I'm taking chemo, and I'm just uh, holding this microphone to my chest, and in one take, I knock out the verses, and like I'm falling in and out of sleep because of the chemo and the medicine and everything is real chaotic. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be the best song I've ever done. I sing the little the bridges and the hooks that the women sing. I send it to them. I arrange it. I put their vocals on there. Then I was like, you know what, bro? If this is my send off, I got to go harder. And I was like, listen, I found a guitarist. I was like, listen, I need you to play from this point to this point. And that's where you hear in the very beginning of the song, you hear this. It sounds like a harp. It's really a guitar that I sampled and turned backwards. And I took that
Right.
same live guitar and I had them play in the middle of my verse to just really beautify what I was doing. And I was like, this um, is going to be my attempt at making the best song I possibly make, and this is my goodbye to the earth. And obviously, I killed that cancer shit. I'm not
Yes,
dealing. I don't.
sir.
I beat it. Yeah, we out of there. We out of there. You feel me? And everything turned out okay. You know what I'm saying? It took me about 7, 8 months to finally beat it and be done with it, but I survived. So I was like, okay, the song Angels is out. I made the best song I could possibly make. Let's take it further. Let's continue the story. And I think so. Angels was the first song that I made in the hospital, and I made the rest of the mixtape, the whole thing in that hospital. And I was like, I got to tell the whole story because tomorrow's not promised. So
Wait,
like
for real, like all those tracks you made it in the hospital.
yeah. So the
Yeah,
only
that's
the
tough.
only thing
That's tough.
yeah I think there was a couple verses, like it was a verse towards the end of the project that I recorded a rough draft of that before I got sick.
Uh-huh.
And then when I got in the hospital, I just redid it. So like I wrote and recorded the whole thing in there, but there was little ideas that I already had sitting in my phone, in my voice memos, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I would say like 85% of that brand new stuff that I came up with and wrote in the hospital, and some of it was like stuff I was already holding on to that I was like, okay, let's go ahead and add this in. But from the stuff like the me telling my story, like all of that, that is all done in the hospital. The only thing that wasn't done that already was started was the song called There You Have It, which is me rapping over the Duppy freestyle beat. But yeah, that whole thing, man, like I was in there for like 180 days in Baltimore, fighting for my life and also, fighting to make my stamp with this music shit. So that's
Yeah,
when you
man,
hear
you
that,
about to blow.
you
You
know
about
what
to
time
blow,
it is, man.
definitely, man. It's
Yes,
time. It's
sir.
damn time. You killed that shit. Now
I
it's time for you to
appreciate it.
kill this music shit, man.
Hmm.
I'm glad
Yeah. So
you.
when
I'm
go ahead.
glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned that. There you have it,
Hmm.
man. You made me forget that it was a Drake beat. I ain't gonna lie. Like I like, man, it's a little familiar, but I can't quite remember why. It's like a little
Damn.
deja vu. Then I remember, oh
Hmm.
shit, it's a Duppy, it's a Duppy freestyle. You
Hmm.
own that. You own that song.
I appreciate it. That's probably the second Drake beat that I rapped over, and people was like, "Nigga, that's your beat now. That ain't Drake's beat no more." And that's fun. I love Drake, so I appreciate that.
Drake don't
Um,
even try to spit bars no more.
he a pop star now, but it's like
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of old Drake because when I was younger, when I was probably like 8, 9, 10 years old, my favorite rappers were Eminem, Wayne, and Drake. And I always thought to myself that, if I saw myself as a rapper, I would see myself kind of taking the Drake lane where he's not trying
Yeah.
to be this crazy, he's not trying to be anything that he's not. And
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
say he uses the accents and et cetera, but he doesn't, when he's in his interviews, he's himself in the same way I present myself as I am. I'm not trying to be anything but an artist. So I always look up to Drake, and I always thought that he was really. I thought his rap style was really awesome, and I know he inherits that from Jay Z, the braggadocio, the rapping like you got everything, and the
Yeah. Yeah.
different the style.
Thank me later. Drake was that. Thank me later. Drake had bars, and so far gone.
Yeah,
Drake had bars too.
bro. I literally when I was in elementary school, I memorized the song Headlines, bro. I memorized that whole song. I used to
I
rap
think
it.
everybody did.
Yeah, or like I think I probably memorized every Drake song, and like I swear to God, I thought I was Drake, bro. Like Drake is definitely one of my icons, bro. Like that's a goat right there. It's nothing you can take away from him. And I'm just
Yes,
glad
sir.
that when I rap on my idols beats that people think that I outdid them. That's crazy. And I would love to get a Drake feature, man. Just it would be an honor just to be on the same beat as Drake at the same time as him, just to feed off his energy and really see us go head to head and see who can come up with the crazier shit. He might come on there singing all types of crazy. I might have to pull something out of my bag of tricks. You feel me? Like that. I would love that though.
Yeah, you definitely got the firepower, and Drake got that silk going. It's a perfect
Hmm.
match.
I appreciate that. That'd be awesome. Let me see what else we got in here. Uh, what'd you think about the song Rent Free?
What's that? Oh, the one with why save? Um. Oh yeah, the one with Pusha T.
Yeah. So on streaming services, I'm not gonna let it say featuring Pusha T because I don't want him to strike my shit down or nothing like that.
Ah,
But
yeah.
that's a real conversation that I called in the Sway in the morning when I was 15 years old. I had slept in, so I didn't go to school that day. And I saw a tweet. They were like, "You were live Sway in the morning right now. Call this number if you want to speak to Pusha T." And I'm like, I want to talk to Pusha T. So I call up there, and they're talking, and Sway is like, "Hey, these citizens, they get mad at you. They go mad at you if y'all don't let them talk to you. We got Christian on the line from Maryland." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is real." And I was like, "What's up, guys?" Like I was speaking with my little kid voice. I was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? It's
Yeah.
Christian from Maryland.
It's all excited and shit.
I'm a 15-year-old up and coming artist, and I got the passion and the fire." And Pusha was like the fact that Pusha was so cool to me, like I felt like I have to put that on the tape, bro.
Oh,
Like,
definitely, definitely.
and that's why I have the song. earlier in the track list called The Passionate. Because I'm like, I got passionate written on my arm. You probably can't see it here, but like that's
Hold on,
I'm
hold
very
on.
like
Where is it at?
you see it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that
Uh,
shit.
so like that's me. Like if anybody that has ever met me, they know like I'm very energetic when it comes to and passionate. I keep saying the word passionate, but that's what it is about my arts, you know, and like I don't take it for granted. I truly appreciate the culture and everybody who came in this before me. And I feel like you shouldn't be rapping if you're not trying to be the GOAT. Simple as that.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when I come into these tracks and I'm rapping all aggressively and I'm really spending like what I thought were my final days on earth trying to craft a perfect mixtape, it's because I love it to death, literally. So it's like to hear Pusha T tell me I have everything that I need in order to take over. You know what I'm saying? He said the first thing on this line, man. You said you got passion and fire. That's you got everything it takes. You just need to keep maturing it. No truer words have ever been said to me
Yes, sir.
because
You got the foundation.
I appreciate it. And that it just like it told me when he said that, like it made me realize that I thought I was good when I was 15, but it's like as a 20-year-old today, I know that I'm 1,000 times better than what I was when I first spoke on the phone with Pusha T. And I'm glad he didn't ask me to rap when I was 15 because I might have went on there and said some bullshit. I'm
You
glad he
were-
didn't say, well, why don't you rap right now? Passionate fire motherfucker. Like, nah. But it was like it definitely warmed my heart. And I remember after that phone call just waiting for them to drop it on YouTube so I could download it. And I've been holding on to that sample for 5 years. And I was like, I gotta find a song where I'm really lyrically going crazy in order to put that Pusha T cosign on there. It's no way I'm gonna put a Pusha T cosign on a song where I didn't go to fuck insane. So
yeah,
you,
that was actually what I was gonna say.
mm-hmm,
You pull the theatrics of the beat back when it's time for you to just spit bars.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
You know
yeah,
how to highlight the rap and stuff. And
I appreciate
you did that well on Rent Free. You didn't
that.
try to
Mm-hmm,
go too crazy with a beat. It was just
mm-hmm.
straight up bars.
Yeah, it was a simple beat that I found from a producer named Bandit Loose, and his version of the beat was a lot. There's a lot more singing going on in his version of the beat, and I was like, in order for me to really make people focus on the words of what I'm trying to say, I need to take this beat and like kind of like cloud it and
Yeah,
make it like kind of watery. So it's like his version is you can actually hear the sample and what it's singing, and I'm like, it's too many words there. I need a flat calm, zenned out beat. So I just took it and I just turned it down 4 semitones and I put like some filters on it to make it kind of like a quiet echo, if that makes sense. And just
yeah,
create
yeah,
a I want to just create a space for me to just rap. And I felt like that it really helped me tell my story. And at that point, I was like, that is the end of my story as the like the language of goats. That's why I say that at the end of that verse. I was like, that is my story right there, up until this point. And then every song after that is like a bonus track. But yeah, that definitely allowed me. It put pressure on me to make sure that I tell my story completely. Just having knowing that I'm gonna put Pusha T at the end of it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it definitely, I was like, all right, we gotta end this shit like it's like a movie recap. Like this is the final scene of the movie. You know what I'm saying? So I
And it's a
appreciated that.
perfect.
Hmm.
It like I said on Twitter when I hit you up, you
Hmm.
track this shit so well because it
Hey.
goes from first half of the project just trying
Hmm.
to showcase what you can do in terms of beats and in terms of rhymes. You're just showcasing all of that, firing in
Hmm.
all cylinders. Then as it
Hmm.
winds down towards the latter half of the project and we get to Rent Free, it's just start to become just beats and rhymes,
Yeah.
just really simple,
Hmm.
focusing on you as an MC.
Hmm.
And it's great that you did that because if you try to do way too much stuff, man, that's a little bit of overload.
Yeah, yeah. And I realized that um the way that like my original sequencing of the mixtape, it was like Angels was first, and then Welcome to the Neighborhood, and then the song Level X. And it was just a lot. It was just a boom, boom, boom. It was just so much. And I'm like, okay,
You gotta even it
okay,
out.
yeah. And that's the reason why Welcome to the Neighborhood is actually like original is really actually it's two separate songs, but I brought them together and in order to paint a full picture, because at first like I was going to either start the mixtape off with Angels, which is like Angels is a long song, there's a lot to unpack in Angels, but then Welcome to the Neighborhood, it's like the first two beats that I use on there, it's like it's so chaotic that it's like you need something to calm it down,
Yeah, to
to
balance it
really
out.
exactly. And that's what my mixtape is really all about. And I feel like that's what my life is about, is balance. You know, you have this raging intensity, but you also have this very soothing calmness. You know what I mean? That you I feel like in order to be a dynamic human being that's capable of doing multiple things, you have to be able to know when to turn it up and then turn it down. I wouldn't watch a horror movie where it was just stabbings for 60 minutes. And I wouldn't watch a
Yeah.
drama. I wouldn't watch a drama where it's just talking for 60 minutes. So it's like,
Speaking, yeah, go
mhm.
ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
Uh, you mind if we jump a couple of tracks?
Go ahead. Yeah, you take control. Go ahead.
You gotta tell me why you decided to turn all the way up on Robin Kill, man.
Okay.
Like I did
Because
not expect that. Like
that's why.
that started playing, that threw me
Hmm.
off, and I was like, man, what the hell is this man trying to do? But then I let it go, I let it play, and I'm like, hey,
Hmm.
it's kind of this shit kind of hard,
Yeah.
and it is hard.
So that was a last minute creation, and I was sitting on that beat probably since 2018. I was sitting on that beat for a long time, and I didn't know what to do with it. And like you probably people aren't going to be able to tell now because I'm doing so many collaborations now with other artists. But like for the longest time, I was the type of artist where it's like I was kind of like J. Cole, like no features, right? And I was
Yeah,
like, okay, I knew it was somebody that like one of my biggest supporters and mentors, his name is Weech. He hit me up. He said, listen, I listened to that song Angels. I would love to do a song with you. And he does a lot of trap and R&B. And I was like, okay, I want to be the lyricist that the world needs. And I feel like the problem with a lot of lyricists is they're incapable of transitioning into other sounds. And I was like,
yeah,
trap is not my sound by nature. I'm not a trap artist. But I was like, I'm gonna challenge myself. And I was like, all right, Weech, I'm gonna slide you this beat. You go crazy on it. You do what you do. And if your verse is too long, I'll arrange it how I need to arrange it. But I was like, go ahead, and I'm gonna go in right after you. And he sent me a really short verse at first, and I was like, okay, this is cool, and I'm gonna just go in after that. And I sent him my verse, and then he sent me another verse, and it was long as hell. And I was like, I'm keeping this whole thing.
yeah,
And I come in, I spit as fast as I could possibly spit on that beat. I'm putting in as many words as I can in that trap beat. And I'm like, I'm gonna bring my lyrical element to a trap beat. And uh this is one of the first songs that I posted like on YouTube from this mixtape. And it's just to switch it up because I know that people are not expecting me to make a song called Rob and Kill.
yeah,
They're
man.
not,
That
you
shit
know,
threw me off.
good. Yeah. And it's because I like so as much as I'm into lyricism and battle rap and jazz rap and everything and soul samples, I like Lil Uzi. I like Travis Scott. I like
Yeah,
who else? The Migos. I like all that loud banger shit. You know what I'm saying? I like Chief Keef. I like Ski Master Slump God. I like XXXTentacion. I like Rico Nasty. I like Young Manny. So it's like I like Zan. So it's like sometimes I want to get on a trap beat. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is probably the first trap beat I've ever done. And I feel like it was a good transition for me. My verse is not too long. My verse is not too short. It's like I come in there, I do what I do, and I dip. And I was like, it's just because I wanted to leave this mixtape with a bang. I didn't want to. A lot of people make. I think a lot of lyrical artists their intro was really grandiose, and then their outro could either be really grandiose or it kind of falls flat. So I was like, let me do something completely different, and I'm gonna leave you with a trap song, and the whole thing ends with a gunshot, and I put my little sample in there, the girl saying "We love Armani," and I take the beat, and the reason why you hear the beat reversing so hard, and
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end, that's of course that's me. I love turning shit backwards. But I was like, let me get this is a mixtape at the end of the day. It's not an album. So let me go ahead and turn y'all up real quick. You know what I'm saying? Y'all listen to me tell my story for like 25 minutes. Let me give you some hot shit. You feel me? So that's the whole thing with Rob and Kill is like, I mean, let me just I want to every time you listen to a mixtape, an EP, an album, a single from me, is gonna be something completely different and left. Like I will never make anything else like the language of goats ever again. The next thing is going to be completely different. Now, I might borrow elements. I'm definitely going to continue to tell my story. I'm hit you with them bars. I'm gonna give you this great, grandiose, you know what I'm saying, story and these concepts, and make it like a movie. But it's not going to sound the same at all. Like the amount of beats that I had, the amount of microphones I broke to make this, all the stuff I had to go through to make this, I'm gonna do something
Gee,
completely different.
yeah.
So
And
it's just
you,
a
you
mhm,
you definitely flip that what you said about lyrical artists having a very grandiose intro, and
mhm,
and they end the whole record on a whimper. You really what you call, you really flip that thing. It's thinking about it now, it's kind of clever that you end that shit on a gunshot, because if you take Welcome to the Neighborhood as the
mhm,
official start of the project, and
mhm,
it starts off really aggressive and you end off really aggressive. It's a nice little cohesive start and finish. And the thing you said
uh-huh,
about the MC people need, um there are a lot of lyrical rappers have the bars for sure, pen game on lock, but they
mhm.
don't have a good ear for beats.
Facts.
They don't got a
Yeah.
good ear for beats, and I feel like they get stuck with like 90s boom bap. They
Mhm.
get stuck with straight up drums and a James Brown sample. They don't really they don't really they don't
Like
like that
James
funky drummer
Brown.
sample, like that
I love
Amen
James
right.
Brown. Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely. But yeah, you're right. You gotta have an ear for what sounds you can hop on, and you gotta grow.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, what I feel like people are missing is that like they focus on words so much to the extreme, to the point where they get on a beat and they're just talking.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, you got to understand that your voice is an instrument, your cadence is an instrument, your flow,
Yes,
the
yes.
speed, all this, like all of that. I'm like, when I make certain songs, it's like I imagine that my voice is my intent, and my delivery is my weapon, right? So my intent is to either kill you, is to give you knowledge, is to make you feel welcome, to make you feel in fear. That's my intention. That's going to be what I'm actually writing. Now, how I deliver it to you, am I loading up a Glock? Am I going to hit you with some like big banging crazy flows that are just like real aggressive? Or am I gonna be fencing with you with like a sword? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel
Yeah,
like on the
yeah.
passionate, the way I'm rapping is more like I'm fencing with those different flows, and how I'm like switching rhyme schemes like back to back to back and switching the flow so many times. It's like I'm fencing. And I feel like a lot of and then on what song was that? On Angels, I'm even more relaxed. It's almost like I feel like that flow is more like a handyman with a screwdriver just trying to just tune up whatever they're
Yeah.
working on. So I feel
Hey,
like
can I cut you
people
off real quick?
go ahead, absolutely.
I just gotta say this, because you already mentioned, you touched on it already.
Hmm.
Um, People get caught up, lyrical rappers get caught up with the technical side of things, and 9 times out of 10, the
Hmm.
listeners, the listener ain't even gonna notice that. It's gonna fly over people's head.
Hmm.
Thing you do though is you're great at adjusting your tone and delivery. It adjusts to what
Hmm.
you're trying to say. It adapts to the context that it's in.
Hmm.
So whatever it is that you're trying to say, it doesn't it connects, because it connects with the beat, it connects with how you say it. So me as a listener,
Hmm.
I'm able to digest it better, as
I
opposed to
appreciate that.
just like all these lyrical people tend to give you 10 tracks and they all 5 minutes of just rapping. No, no, it doesn't even let the beat ride a little bit. It's just them rapping at you for an hour straight, and
Yeah,
that leaves you a little bit burnt out.
I agree. And I pick up the same way you just picked up on that. Is like I've been listening to rap forever. And I don't mean like when I was like probably like 10 years old, I was listening to Hove. You feel me? Like, and
Yeah,
as I got
yeah.
older, like I did the research. I listened all the way back to Rakim and KRS-One, all the way to where we are now. So I've heard everything. And I can say that like the reason why I don't like certain lyrical artists is because I'm like, you're boring me. You know what I'm saying? You're saying a whole lot, but it's like you got to make it exciting for me. So
Yeah, that's
when I
why
picked up,
when I
mhm,
hit you up on the DM, I said your music is engaging.
I appreciate that.
That's the thing. If you want to say something that you want to say something that has meaning to you, you can't just like be rapping and talking shit on a track. You got to engage the listener. Why do I have to listen to you? And
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, you definitely give me reason to listen closer though. Props.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and I got to give credit to um like me being a battle rap fanatic, they are masters at getting people to really tune into exactly what they're saying because they know when to turn it up, they know when to relax it, and it's very theatrical. So for me, it's like being back at home because
Yeah.
what my background is, I'm used to performing on stage in front of 1,000 or more people, and I have to make them feel what I feel. You know what I'm saying? And every little choice, that I got to get that across to you. And I feel like I learned a new style of lyricism by putting theater, battle rap, and then also my love for hip hop all together because I'm like, all right, I can't, I don't want everything to be flying over your head. I don't want that. Now, if it's going to be complex stuff that people won't catch, that's fine. But like the message of what I'm trying to say, I want to punch you in the face with it. I want it to like smack you in the face as soon as you hear it. So like even if you don't understand exactly what I'm getting at, you have a good understanding of what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And even if it even if it does go over my head, if I
Hmm.
want to run that back and listen to it 10 more times, it's not gonna be boring and tiring. And that's important.
Hmm.
You got to have good replay value. Like this is not a knock on Kendrick. K Dot
Hmm.
made arguably the
The
greatest
goat.
rap album ever. Yeah.
The goat.
Fucking To Pimp a Butterfly, man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be listening to T-Pab on a Sunday afternoon, sitting on the porch. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
on some that's easy listening. But
Hmm.
um, K Dot definitely say a lot of truth, a lot of knowledge. He kick a lot of knowledge on T-Pab, but for most
Hmm.
people, it don't really have that replay value. So the
I 100%. I agree with that, and I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly was definitely for a specific listener who is meant to want to dissect everything. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for me as an artist, Kendrick Lamar is my number one inspiration. Kendrick Lamar is the reason that I rap. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
there's other people sprinkled in there like Eminem, Jay-Z, Wayne, Drake, but Kendrick Lamar is the number one reason why I rap. So I definitely that's the number one person I studied. So when I look at Kendrick, I feel like Kendrick to me is underrated because a lot of his messages are over the head, so people don't even catch them. They don't even really
yeah.
get how amazing it is what he said. So for me as an artist, I know that I definitely went through a phase where I was very similar to Kendrick, where I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like it's a lot of it's gonna fly right over y'all heads. So I was like, in order for me to not be underrated, I need to be able to I want to make these grand concepts, but make them easy listening. And if it's not, it won't always be easy listening to the point where it's like you just got some stuff playing in the car. Cause I feel like a lot of my music is really intense, but I feel like when you're listening to this, it's cinematic. So you
Yeah,
enjoy it. You're sitting back and you're like, oh man, this shit is awesome. And if you catch a
yeah,
bar, you catch a bar. If not, you're also appreciating me as a co-producer and a musician. So either
exactly,
way, it works
exactly.
out. Hmm.
If you want to
So
study that shit, like go in depth on the lyricism and all that, you're able to
mhm.
do that. But if you just wanted to pass the whip test, it will pass the whip test. It should
I
definitely pass
needed
the
that.
whip. Yeah,
I needed that because so much of my old music that I had to take down off streaming services, it wasn't mixed and mastered, it wasn't banging, it wasn't loud enough, it wasn't, to me it didn't sound cool. So it was like it didn't pass the whip test. And it also, um if I wanted to perform it, then nigga, that's like 600 bars. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I suffocate trying to do that. So I was like, for this, I want to rap my ass off, but I structured it in a way where it's like there's nothing that I do on this mixtape that I couldn't perform live or that
yeah,
wouldn't be enjoyable. Cause even with Welcome to the Neighborhood, it starts off where I'm just doing this like multi-syllabic rhyme scheme for like a minute 30 seconds. And then we flipping it and the flow becomes more intense, but it's actually easier for me to do because it's not as many words. So it's like
yeah,
I
yeah,
can do that and we can have a good time. And you know what? The intent of making some of those really intense raging moments is because I wanted to make a lyrical mosh pit. I want a mosh pit
got
of
you.
people losing their minds while I'm spazzing out. And like I want it to look like I'm going Super Saiyan on stage. When I got that mic, we're jumping, we're going. I don't want to, it's not a poetry recital where I'm like sitting down and the bees, the trees, the water, the eagles. And no, that's
Yeah, got
nah,
you.
it's nah,
None
we
of that
going the
Curtis
fuck
Blow stuff,
crazy.
but shout out to Curtis Blow though.
Yeah. Um yeah, man. And also I'm 20 years old. That's why the cover is like it looks like a little kid drew it because I want to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like I like shit that sometimes is loud and ignorant. You know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous and like that's why at certain moments were like on Rob and Kill where it's like some damn like what the fuck type shit is they on? Like they wilding the fuck out. We gonna
Yeah,
break in
you
your house and
wilding out on
kidnap.
that track.
I break in your house and I kill your father. I want the Louis and I want. That's another thing that's different about me is that like I don't I don't post it on social media that much. Like I like jewelry, I like designer clothes, I like all that stuff. So um I'm a different type of lyricist than that because I'm not trying to tell nobody. I will never get on the track and tell nobody to get out the strip clubs or stop wearing jewelry, stop wearing designer because I like all that. So it's like is I feel like I'm just you can't put me in a box. You can't put me over here with the lyricists that dress like Moses, and you can't put me over here with the cloud rappers that don't
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
bars. So it's like I kind of you could see me with the most lyrical of the lyrical one day, and you could see me with the most trapped out, most SoundCloud type artists in the world, and we could both hang out because I feel like I'm a bridge the gap between those two groups.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at earlier. That's a
Mhm.
challenge for lyrical MCs to be able to kick knowledge on a top 40 radio type beat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like put you
yeah.
on a Post Malone type beat, but still kick Rakim, K Dot level bars.
Mm,
Like, you got to be
yeah.
able to, you know, dip your feet in both those waters. And one thing I'm gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
um, I forgot to add earlier. I learned this from a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You pass the shitty speaker test.
Hmm. Hmm.
If it sound good on shitty speakers, then it sounds
Yeah.
good wherever else. That's props to your production, man.
I
I
appreciate
played
that.
it
I didn't.
on. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you mix some. Just after that, play it on some really shitty laptop speakers, some shitty fucking dollar store Bluetooth speakers with the Chinese
Mm-hmm.
letters. If it still sound good on those shitty speakers, it's probably gonna sound good everywhere else because it's you focus too much on how it sounds on studio monitors, on fucking headphones and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody gonna listen to your shit with that equipment.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I wasn't. thinking about that quote because I think I might have heard that before, but it definitely wasn't in the forefront of my mind. But I did literally, like you said, I tested. So before I turned in every song, if I think a couple of these songs I mixed all by myself, and then a couple of them I handed off to other people to mix and engineer. Because like it's like Welcome to the Neighborhood is like 36 layers. It's huge, right? And so is Angels. So I handed them off to professionals, but I was like, yo, okay, I'm gonna play this on my laptop, my phone, got these wireless earbuds, I got Beats by Dre. I got I'm gonna send it to other people's phones. I'm gonna listen to it when it's how does it sound when I put it on Twitter? How does it sound when I put it on Instagram, on YouTube? How does it sound on I have like a PA system so I can do live performances. How does it sound there? And it was like literally I had to make sure it sounded clean on every speaker because I don't the last thing I want is for me to be saying all this crazy shit and it's like no bass at all in the music
Yeah.
and it just sounds and people be like, man, turn that shit off. You know what I mean? That's the last thing I want. So yeah, definitely, the shitty speaker test. That's what I'll call it next time I do that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, got you, man. It's a however I want to listen to it, it's been a good experience.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, definitely, man.
Um, I guess to wrap up, because we've probably been on here for like an hour or two, and I definitely appreciate your time. I've learned a lot just listening to what you got to say. What was I guess your favorite moment in this track list thus far, and what do you want to see from me in the future?
All right, so first off, whole project solid. Like I cannot stress that enough. I love how cohesive it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could just tell you I like the whole thing because it's really like one big experience.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the fucking dissonant keys on Welcome to the Neighborhood, man.
Yeah,
Man, that fucking
yeah.
cause a lot of people talk about uh having jazz elements on their rap track, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
just a couple of horns and a piano sample. You
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
had some jazz elements in your shit.
Uh-huh.
Major
Yeah,
props to that. That's fucking attention to detail. So major props to that.
I
And
appreciate that.
I love how you kick the flow on rent free.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It took it. I really pride myself. I feel like the flows that I used on this mixtape, I've never heard those flows before, and I've never done those flows before. So I feel like for me, I was satisfied as a lyricist after I was done because I was like, wow, like I feel like I unlocked a new level every time I completed
Yeah.
a song. So I appreciate that you're appreciating, you know what I'm saying, the different flows and then the different weird styles of production and like the actual dissonant keys and stuff because I definitely needed that in my intro because I was like, I need to invent a rhyme scheme and a flow and a pattern that I've never done before and that I've never heard before. And I had to use a style of production that I've never heard a beat like that before. So yeah, it was definitely it was a challenge for me. It was a test, and I'm glad that that you received it and you are enjoying it.
So as far as expectations though, man, I can't wait for you to if this is a mixtape, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, and I can't wait what the fuck you have in store for a whole fucking album, man. If this is what you got for a mixtape, man, your
uh,
full length album about to go crazy.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man, and I'm glad that you received it how you did because uh my whole goal was to try to create the best possible mixtape, the best possible cohesive project I could possibly make. And now that I've done it and it's done and it'll be out on Halloween, I know that the album, if I could do a mixtape again, I could do a second mixtape, but when my album comes out, I can't play around. I can't, we can only go up. I'm not taking
Oh
no
yeah,
L's. You feel me?
yeah, nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, that's facts.
Man, you when this pandemic ends, and I don't know when the fuck it's gonna end.
hmm
Man, your live show is about to go crazy too.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'll come to Sydney, man. I'll come to Australia.
Yes,
The
sir.
globe,
I
we're
look
gonna become
forward to that.
global. We got
Yeah.
supporters in South Africa, the UK, obviously America, Canada, probably some other places, Brazil. So it's like, we're starting small, but we're gonna get around there. We'll travel across the planet. You know what I'm saying? And I'll bring you up on stage with me, man. We can do a mosh pit right up there.
Yes, sir. About to turn up.
Yes, sir. Well, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your feedback, man. Is there anything you want to say to the internet?
Stay safe and wear a fucking mask.
Put that
Damn.
motherfucking mask on.
Put that mask
Mask
on. Don't
on.
act a fool. Yeah.
Mask on. Yo, man, it's Armani Jordan, Conversation with JV. Get the mixtape on Halloween, The Language of Goats. Thank you again for your time, brother.